Hey guys, Dr. Drunk aka here with a replay review for you. Today we have Silentnight102 in his Tier 9 Pan-European destroyer, the Friesland. He's in a top tier in a Tier 9 game. Looking at the other team, you got an Emilio and a Sasho, Uland and Minsk, 2 radar cruisers and a Chappie in Annapolis. You do have a CV in game, and you have all Tier 9 battleships except for the Nelson, which, of course, is a Tier 7, it's pretty resistant to fires anyway. Now, I don't know what Silent's captain build is going to be here. The Friesland, if you know anything about the Friesland is a gunboat destroyer only. It does have a 5-kilometer hydro, relatively poor surface detectability, and it does have a lot of defense against aircraft, honestly. Looking at his build, from what I can tell here, I haven't seen him shoot, so I don't know what the build is specifically, but I can tell you for one thing, he probably has AFT based on the 14.3 kilometer range. He does have concealment expert. He does have survivability expert, and he does have superintendent. My guess in this case is that he's running priority. This is old captain skills, by the way. By the time this comes out, probably be new captain skill time. He's running priority target, I guess. I'm guessing priority target, last stand, survivability, superintendent, AFT, and concealment. I'm guessing he's probably running reload mod in the last slot. But anyway, I do like his move here. I like the way he's pushing to the south side of the EF8 island. It's a good place to be. It minimizes what is able to shoot at you, and the Uland is going to be doing a fair amount of spotting for him. Something is in C. We know that something is capping. I like this, that he's staying out of the cap, and that's an Uland. You can absolutely murder that. The Friesland being a gunboat only. And speaking of which, it looks like he probably has reload mod in the last spot, but no BFT, because that's 1.7 second reload. Mathematically, I'm fairly sure that if you have reload and BFT, that it ends up being 1.3 or 1.2 seconds. I don't remember off the top of my head. Now, this is a decent position. Remember, you do have an Indianapolis that has 10-kilometer radar. The Indy is turning away, but we haven't seen radar from him yet, so always assume that he is ready to pop that and ready to ruin your day. You're behind the island. There's not much that can spot you. You very feasibly could have stayed in the exact same position you were in and just farmed this ready for a while. In this case, I would almost prefer to have turned out instead of turning into the cap. You can always circle around back into the cap, but as it is, you're putting yourself in a position where there are more things that can shoot at you. And I don't know that I would have smoked here. I didn't see the priority target pop up, so I don't know if you're running priority target. The smoke here has one problem. You have an Indianapolis pushing into you. Granted, there's New Orleans, and there's the radar. There 100% is the radar. You see the Palo Emilio pop up as well. If you are to the outside, and I can't, it looks like the Freddy is taking a shot at you and missed. Good call on popping the hydro. I would like to see him looking around a little bit more. Yep, just like this. The biggest problem you're going to have, in this case again, you still have 90 seconds left on your smoke, but you got very lucky that nothing was set up to take a pot shot at you except for that Freddy taking one shot. Remember, the radar on the Indy is fairly short, and it has a fairly long cooldown. If you bait out the radar and then smoke up afterwards, you have nothing that can threaten you. Good use of the hydro to make sure that there's no torpedoes coming, because you know the Uland is out there somewhere, and it does keep the Paolo away from you as well. No problem farming right now. That actually makes a lot of sense. It's, you see what's in range, and you basically go after what's in range, trying to kill off that Freddy. It's definitely not a bad thing to take him out of the match. Looks like that fire's probably gonna stick. Did he damcon earlier? I guess he did not. Perfect opportunity to farm the Minnesota here for a little while. Set a couple of fires on him and get him moving. Your team does not have a lot of map position. Your Akazuki is being picked on by the CV. Your Mahan is literally just sitting in the B cap. Your Mahan needs to leave. I don't see any reason why the Mahan needs to be there. The Jean Bar is going to lose a straight-up gunfight against an Ismo and an Nelson. He's not going to win that fight. He doesn't want to be there. Both of your Georgias, your Palmer and your New Orleans, your Uland are going wide chasing a Paolo Emilio. Team-wise, I don't know that I can say much for that, but you do have a free C cap. You know the Paolo is the closest thing to you, and you're the closest thing to him because you just suddenly got located. Look at your map position, and you can pretty much figure out that the Paolo is going to be somewhere just to the north of you because you are the located target. If he was further to the right side towards the 9 line, you would have the Uland be the closest thing. If he was pushing down towards the B cap, there's a chance that you're the closest thing, possibly. Otherwise, it would probably be the Mahan. And there's, well, the Uland's in B cap. He ran for the hills. I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of farming the Nelson here, but I don't think I would have sat this far out. I think I would have tried to get a little bit closer. If you look at your range, and this becomes, it's solo cap in a Friesland is very nice, but this becomes a function of your range. When I play the Friesland, I do not play an AFT or range mod build. I play a pure rapid fire gunboat build. I only have a 12.3 range. I'm used to getting in much closer for this. So while yes, you can stay this far out to farm, if you look at the mini-map now, you have one problem. You have only one target that's in range of you. Once that target gets out of your range, you're going to have still 45 seconds left on your smoke, and you won't be able to do anything with it. If you're going to use smokes, especially with a gunboat like the Friesland, you want to be able to have as many targets in range as possible so that you can maximize your damage output. Looking at the minimap, it looks like your Akazuki died. I don't know, I guess your Char Norse died really, really early on. Your Mahan needs to not be sitting there, especially seeing the Paolo Emilio going into B, like you talked about earlier. The located icon. Uland is up on the minimap. Look at your minimap. Look at your minimap. Look at your minimap. Look at your minimap. Ah, look at your minimap! You have an Uland at about 7.5 kilometers. You have a Paolo Emilio at about 7.5 to 8 kilometers. If this is me, I'm looking at the minimap. I'm trying to save either my Jean Bar or my Uland right now. Your Mahan's not going to be able to kill that Paolo before the Jean Bar dies. And minimap awareness. Always be glancing down, and yeah, the Paolo Emilio gets the Jean Bar. On the other side, it looks like the Chappie got the Talon. The Chappie and the Talon traded. Okay. Okay. Question is, can your Mahan kill that Paolo before he kills him? Doesn't look like it from the... Nope. Definitely can't. Oh, that's a bummer. You're down 3 ships? That's not so good. Okay, the Mahan traded. That's not too bad. The Nelson's low. Definitely worth going for the Nelson at this point. And now he's healing, and that's mostly fire damage, so that's going to be problematic. Frederick DeRosa, if you look at your mini-map, the Freddy is down south. The only thing down south that's currently protecting your carrier is your carrier. And your CV just spotted the Asashio. If this is me, I'm turning south right now. I'm actually turning toward the Nelson. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to push south. I want to try and keep my CV alive. Oh god, that Freddy is still full health. The George is heading south to deal with the Freddy, but and your Pomeran's YOLOing. The George is heading south to deal with the Freddy. The Pomeran's a lost cause at this point. Don't even bother. The Georgia can probably deal with the Freddy, however, he can't deal with the Asashio. Any competent Asashio player is going to wipe that Georgia right off the face of the earth. So, if this is me, I'm turning south. Just like it, yep, just like you're doing. Turn south. If that Asashio has his torpedoes, and there's no reason to think that he doesn't, your George is a dead man. See, I would have turned south. I would have followed the Uland and headed south in that direction. Once you keep the CV alive, not only are you keeping his spotting alive, but you're also keeping the Georgia and his significant health pool and his significant firepower advantage alive as well. Good use of defensive AA, and yep, Georgia dies to the Asashio. No guarantee you could have prevented it, but you certainly could have helped with that, especially that you have a Hydro that's off cooldown and ready to go. And by the time you got there, along with the Georgia, you may have been able to kill off the Asashio in the meantime. As it is now, you're out in the open, and you're trying to burn down the Freddy from... You do have priority target. I finally just noticed that. It's such a habit for me to know it and not even notice. You're leaving the Georgia and the Uland and the CV to deal with this, and there's no real reason to go after that, because... Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Come on, Minnesota. Please don't have guns looking this direction, even though you probably does. In this case, I'm actually more worried about the Minnesota than I am that... Okay, it didn't hurt that bad. I'm more worried about the Minnesota than I am the CV, because, again, it's a Friesland. Although that hurt pretty well, too. Not sure where that second bit of damage came from. Maybe the Freddy? Alright, in this case, back up from the island. Turn the other direction. You want to turn your stern up the 7 line to make yourself as small a target as possible. Just like that. Keep turning. Keep turning. Zoom out and check and see where you are. Always, when you're this close to islands, you need to be constantly aware of where you are in space. Especially with maps like this that have small islands and lots of things that can possibly catch your hull. Alright, so 2 ways to go about this. You have a Minnesota pushing you, you have an Izumo pushing you, you have an Uland pushing you. If you zoom out, you can always take a look at the Uland. The Freddy's damage control's up. He just damn-conned a fire. You know that's up. You know you're not going to set another fire for at least 35 seconds. 30, about 30 seconds? I don't remember what the Freddy's damage control is off the top of my head. I usually just say about 30 seconds. You know the Uland was out there. If I see the Uland, I'm going to look at him every time. Izumo is now 5 kilometers from you. It's time to go. That's a permanent fire. You can bail out of here. And this is why you wanted to actually be thinner, if you will, to the Minnesota, so that you can actually just accelerate and bail out. Good kill on the Freddy. Good use of the Hydro. There's the Izumo. You have 30 seconds on your smoke. You have about 2.9 kilometers on your guns. The Uland cannot get away from you. He's pointing into the cap. You could farm that Freddy or that Izumo, get another fire if you needed to. But I like the idea of running away. You're minimizing what can shoot at you. Hopefully the Kaga can kill that Asashio. Hopefully the Kaga can kill that Asashio. Kaga, please kill that Asashio. Yep, the Uland is ripe for the killing. although the Georgia secondaries get it. I like what you're doing here. You're minimizing what can shoot back at you. The Izumo got the Uland. Why was the Uland in that position? Uland needed to be just southeast of C, putting torpedoes through on the Izumo. Force him to stay broadside to the Georgia. Your comment in chat is appropriate. Oh, and the Minnesota got the Kaga. The Kaga was not able to get away. Can he? I guess he's not gonna. Now he has torpedoes out. He's not gonna get that Asashio then. Your bet now is that Lexington is probably about D3, D4 based on how fast those planes got there and where they came from. Don't be afraid to open up on those planes. You don't have anything to fear. The Izumo's behind an island. The Minnesota's behind an island. Help out your Georgia. You can always toggle off your AA when he gets behind the island. I think your only bet here is to go for the cap, honestly. You're up by about 150 points, 175 points. You're gaining points, they're not. Have to assume the George is going to die based on his health pool. And the Georgia, of course, the Georgia dies based on his health pool. All right, you have 4 minutes. You're up 100 points. You're capping A. Lexington. Look at your mini-map. AA on, and look at your mini-map. No, you don't. Oh, no, you don't need to smoke. You don't need to smoke. Oh, no. All right, in this case, there's no reason to smoke here. They're capping 2 points. They're going to be able to have to cap that point. You have to turn. You have that Lexington at 14.3 kilometers, right? Even if you do not cap this point, you're protecting it. They are not getting any points out of this cap, right? And here you can see, minus 65 points for an aircraft carrier and plus 45. That's a 110-point swing in your favor if you can kill Lexington. With your AA, take the risk. Keep your AA up. Drop the... use the defensive fire consumable, keep your AA up. You can basically kill that Lexington from full health in the amount of time it would take him to kill you. You're the only one spotting him. You're the only one that can do damage to him. Don't worry about the Izumo. If you push, you see where the Izumo is pushing to, and he's aiming south. Unless he is turned to come through the gap, which is what I would do, is come through the gap if I'm him. If he's coming through the gap, he's not going to be able to shoot at you. Right? So you have the ability to do a lot of damage to that Lexington and potentially kill that Lexington, especially if you can get broadside on him. You can use that really, really nasty Friesland AP on his broadside, even his bow and stern, and get full pens on that. You can do some pretty significant damage pretty quick. We're talking like 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 damage salvos for every round of those guns. And I think your guns, I think I saw they were at 1.6 or 1.7. Please go get the Friesland. Please go get the Friesland. You're up by 100 points. They're only gaining 36 points per minute because they have one cap. You guys are basically... they have 2, you have 1, so they're gaining points from 1. In domination, it's 36 points per minute per cap. You have 2 minutes. They're going to gain 72 points. You kill the Lexington. Number 1, you kill their spotting. Number 2, you kill the only thing that can strike you any place on the map. I would be absolutely murdering this Lexington. I'd be absolutely guns blazing on this Lexington at this point. That Izumo's got to be coming right through that gap. He has to be coming right through that gap at this point. I'm surprised he's not in the gap right now. You should be able to see him now, unless he went north. I found the Asashio. And this is why you need to be doing damage to that Lexington earlier, because his secondaries are somewhat nasty. Oh, the Izumo went south. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, and you can see here, you're doing You're doing substantial debt, 2,700 per salvo. That's 1,300. You're doing decent damage here. If you had been farming this Lexington from the beginning, you probably would have been able to win this. AA defense, Confederate, Wither and Wither, I guess Wither and High Caliber, 1,760 base as a loss. That's incredible. Mistakes wise, the only real mistake I saw out of this was basically you running into the island and having to smoke at that point. And really, honestly, the mistake that probably you could have won the game on was going after the Lexington. At that point, it's 4-on-1. That actually could have been a solo warrior. Lexington has 54,000 hit points. Your HE can do a fair amount of damage. Your AP absolutely obliterates him if you get on his side. And with the, 12 or 13,000 hit points you had at the time, I think it was about 12-ish thousand. With about 12,000 hit points left at the time, there's a very real possibility you kill that Lexington before he can do anything to you. His remaining squadron is not going to be able to kill you, especially because you would have a defensive AA available by then. If you hadn't used that smoke, you would have also had that smoke available. And basically, when you have that, you're up by 110 points. They have to get in the cap to stop it, in which case they would only be gaining, I think you were about a minute left at that point. They'd only be gaining 72 points. They wouldn't be able to gain enough points. Minor mistake with the smoke and running into the island earlier. Biggest mistake was smoking and trying to hide from the Lexington. You're an AADD. Don't be afraid of what he was throwing at you. He missed several drops on you, so clearly I wouldn't worry about it. I would have just gone for it. Otherwise, pretty nice job. Pretty well done. Guys, we do a lot of gameplay over at the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DrDrunkAKA. Head on over there, drop a follow. And, of course, on the YouTube, smash that subscribe button. It helps out quite a bit. Until next time, guys, the bar is closing. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. See ya.